All right, so today I'm gonna give you 5 misconceptions, 5 myths about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, and I'm gonna bust those myths. I'm gonna give you my perspective and facts behind why I think these 5 myths are complete and utter BS. All right, so here we go. Start with number 1. The number 1, and these are in no discernible order, but number 1 on the list that I have on the list is you need a lot of money to start a freight brokerage. You need hundreds of thousands of dollars to start a freight brokerage. That is completely and totally false. Matter of fact, most freight brokers have little or no money when they first get started. Okay? You do not need hundreds of thousands of dollars to start a freight brokerage. That's more like a traditional franchise, like go out and buy a McDonald's, you need millions of dollars. Go out and buy a Subway, you need, millions of dollars. Go out and buy these different franchises or these boxed up solutions. Yeah, you're going to pay hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. But freight brokerage, you can start for thousands of dollars, and becoming a freight agent, you can start for hundreds of dollars. Okay. And one of the ways we do that from a cash flow perspective is factoring, right? So factoring is the ability to use OPM, other people's money. Okay. So that is a total misconception. You do not need a lot of money to start a freight brokerage, right? Trust me when I tell you, okay? And by the way, I'm going to be giving away a cheat sheet. So if you don't want to take notes, that's okay. I'm going to be giving away a cheat sheet at the end of this, which is going to be basically this document that's going to summarize all of this, as well as bonus links in here that go into detail proving that these are myths, okay? And these are past trainings and things that I've done. But I will give you an opportunity to get the cheat sheet at the end of this, which is basically my notes. All right. So number 1, you need a lot of money. That is completely false. Right? Myth busted. Number 1. Number 2, freight brokerage will not be around in 10 years from now. Now, you hear that a lot. I've been hearing that for 20 years. Okay, I've been hearing that for 20 years. I started my freight brokerage in 2003, so it's almost 20 years. Okay. I've been hearing that same myth for almost 20 years. The fact is, people think that Uber and Amazon and these digital freight brokers are going to eliminate freight brokers. They're not. They've already proven that they're not. Number 1, none of them has a significant market share, okay, and they've been doing it for years. Number 2, none of them are profitable. They're all losing money. And number 3, okay, in order to become profitable, they're going to have to raise their rates, and then that puts you in total parity with every other broker. Number 4, freight broker technology, TMS software, rating software, load boards, procurement software, appointment scheduling software, all the, tracking software, GPS track, all these different technologies that have developed over the last decade have evened the playing field when it comes to small brokers versus large brokers. That technology has now evened the playing field and allows you to compete with big brokers, C.H. Robinson, Landstar, all the big ones, TQL. Technology has bridged that gap and now allows you to compete directly with them, okay? So no, freight brokers are not going anywhere, okay? I don't care who you are. I will debate you until we're blue in the face. I've been in this industry a long time. I have looked at the data. I've looked at the numbers. I follow all of those digital freight brokerages, and none of them are doing great, okay? And almost all of them are losing money. And even if they do succeed, they will simply become another big broker. They are not going to eliminate brokerage. Trust me when I tell you, okay? Number 2, myth busted. Number 3, no one will hire a freight agent without a book of business, okay? Without customers, right? That is completely and totally false. Completely and totally false, okay? Perfect example. One of my past students was also an agent of mine back in the day. Her name is Monica Gonzalez. When she first started, she didn't have customers. She didn't have a lot of experience. We hired her. She didn't have a customer base. We hired her. And we were the brokerage who didn't hire people that didn't have experience, and we still hired her. Why did we hire her? We hired her because she put together a good value proposition and she sold her way through the process, and thus she became an agent. That was her starting point in the business. And then eventually she went on now as an agent, still an agent, in the business for a totally different company now. Since I later sold the company, she moved on to another company. But I did an interview just not that long ago where she earned over $300,000 in profit in 1 year as an agent that went right in her Hip National Bank. Okay. So that's just one example, but I promise you, in my program, we show you exactly how to get hired as a freight agent with no experience, with no customers. But it's not the way you think. And that's the problem. You guys think that becoming an agent, you go out and look for all these companies that are specifically hiring agents. No, those are people, my old company, Logistic Dynamics, and all the large agent-based companies, right, that are doing hundreds of millions of dollars, they don't need you as a new agent. Okay, they don't need you. They can attract experienced agents. So you need to focus on the smaller brokerages that are doing 2, 3, 5, 10 million. And you propose that value proposition to them to say, listen, I can give you a zero risk proposition and I can help you add millions of dollars to your business over the next 18, 24, 36 months. That's the approach. Okay. So myth number 3 busted. You do not need a customer base in order to get hired as a freight agent. Number 4, you need A+ credit in order to get your freight broker surety bond, which is a requirement of your freight broker bond. So myth number 4 is you need A+ credit rating in order to get your freight broker surety bond, which is a precondition of your freight broker authority. That is completely false. Now, here's what I can tell you. Credit is a huge factor in how much you will pay for your bond. And if you have really bad credit, you may get denied altogether. So that is possible. But I've seen people with 800 credit scores, 700 credit scores, 600 credit scores, all get their freight broker bonds. Now, there might be people that get with credit even worse than that to get a high risk bond for a higher price. But I've seen people in my course that 800, 700, 600 credit scores that have all gotten their surety bonds and then went on to get their freight broker authority. So that is a complete and utter misconception. You do not need 800 credit. Yes, I have 800 plus. I think I have like an 825 or 830 credit score. But there's very few people that have that. The freight brokers out there, I promise you, most of them probably have somewhere between a 600 and 700 credit score is my guess, and they get approved, right? And so ultimately, you do not need A+ credit to get your freight broker surety bond. Therefore, you don't need it to get your freight broker authority, okay? Myth number 4 busted. Myth number 5. This one drives me crazy, okay? You need previous sales experience to be successful as a freight broker or freight agent. I hear this quite frequently, and it is definitely not true. It's not true. It's not true at all. Matter of fact, most of the success stories from Freight Broker Bootcamp, people that I've interviewed or have given testimonials or have spoke highly of the training or have went on had lots of success making hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars as a freight broker or freight agent, most of them did not have sales experience before they started. Most of them. Some of them probably did, but perfect example. Let's use Yogi Goswami. Yogi Goswami is a past student of mine who runs a multiple seven-figure freight brokerage from India. Number one, English is not his first language, so he does have a little bit of a barrier there, which is another thing which is another misconception that I should have added to the list. Lives in India, never been to the United States, started a freight brokerage, does multiple 7 figures, and did not come from a sales background. He didn't have a sales background. Okay. He was in a totally different industry, but it was not sales. All right. Other people that have had success stories did not come from a sales background. That was not their background. They didn't have previous sales experience. So no, you do not need previous sales experience in order to be successful as a freight broker. Now, if you have previous sales experience, okay, it can help. It can help. But the sales strategies that you will use to get a shipper are very learnable. They're very learnable. You can learn cold calling. You can learn cold emailing. You can learn how to use LinkedIn to do outreach. You can learn how to fill your funnel and overcome objections and follow up and do all the things that you need to in order to get shippers and customers as a freight broker or freight agent. So you can learn those skills. Those are very learnable, but you have to invest time and energy and resources to do that. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. You can't learn sales in a day. It doesn't work that way, right? You can you can understand the fundamentals, but then you need to apply them. And that's part of what we do in the course, right? So we start you out on your journey with Freight Broker Bootcamp using on how to get sales and doing some basic sales training. Now, Freight Broker Bootcamp is not a freight broker sales training program. It is a program designed to get you started from A to Z, from zero with no experience to having your authority and going out and starting to get your first few customers to get positive cash flow. That's what that course is designed to do. Now, the good news is I have another course that I'm releasing. It's called the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. Now, this course is an add-on. This is kind of the second step after you take Freight Broker Bootcamp. And it's an add-on course that's specifically designed to teach my freight broker sales system, the winning system that I use to do over $200 million as a freight broker. It includes filling your funnel, overcoming objections, follow-up, growing the accounts. I mean, it includes the entire gambit from A to Z. I take that piece of my brain and I share that with you. Now, that's going to be releasing very soon, okay? I'm hoping very, very soon that's going to be releasing. So if you guys want to get on the wait list, because there's going to be limited availability. Last time it sold out in one day. Okay, the entire program sold out in one day. It's going to be limited availability. I do have a wait list. All you have to do is go to www.freightbrokerbootcamp.com/FB sales. freightbrokerbootcamp.com/FB sales. I'll also include the link below in the comments. But ultimately, that's how you can get on that wait list. Now, it's not a free program, but it's going to be worth 10 times what I charge for it, okay? I don't have all the specific details. It's going to be releasing soon, but if you're serious and you need help getting customers, you absolutely need to get on the wait list, okay? So the wait list costs you nothing. You'll get notified immediately when it releases, and you'll be one of the first people that will get access to that training program, okay? That's, again, where I take that piece of my brain about freight broker sales and everything I've learned, and I put it into an online course that you can access. It's all video driven, and it really is a great course, right? It's an amazing course. I'm excited about it. It's something that I should have created 10 years ago, but I didn't, and I finally did it this year. So I'm excited. So I hope you're excited too. So those are the 5 myths that I wanted to bust today. If you are curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, maybe you're on YouTube or maybe you're on Google and you're searching around to try to gather some information on how to do it, let me save you a whole bunch of time. Check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. We have a 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee. We have over 8,000 students that we've trained. We're well known to be the most cost-effective and comprehensive online training program. Check it out. Plus, we offer a 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee. You can just go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com. You'll get all the details. All right? So I hope you guys enjoyed that.